We've got ourselves more secrets and Easter eggs in Valhalla to talk about, and I actually thought we had mentioned the majority of these Easter eggs in the previous two Valhalla videos, and I've never been so happy to be so wrong because it's great fun finding them, and even better making these kind of videos. It's good fun all round. So get yourself a drink, chill out, and let's dive in. Straight in at number 10, and that's reference to Disney film Brave. Big thanks to Gilb North, but specifically his daughter who pointed this one out. Great work, and I actually haven't seen this one referenced anywhere else, which makes it even better. So if you head to the Medjugorje megaliths in Kent, which you may remember for completing one of the Standing Stones activities, you will most likely have come across this random bear just chilling and sitting down. This bear is actually a reference to the Brave character Queen Eleanor, who became trapped in a bear form within the Stones of Menhirs, also known as the Standing Stones. So this place in game is specifically referencing where the dramatic and climactic scene of the film takes place, where Queen Eleanor and her daughter fight off another bear, succeeding and also mending their relationship with one another and subsequently setting her free from her bear form. But unlike many other bears in this game, the aggro box for this particular bear is very small, so you can actually get quite close before it tries to have a pop at you, which is a nice touch and does make me think that the developers genuinely wanted us to pick up on this one and not just kill it, which I regrettably did first time round. But in any case, a very subtle and very nice Easter egg, so thanks to Gilbnoff for sharing this one. It's really awesome. Coming in at number 9, and this is another very subtle and impressive Easter egg, which I admittedly 100% did not see, so big thanks to Jude for sharing this one, who spotted this awesome God of War reference. Now, if you fast travel yourself to Buckingham Docks and head just north of there, you'll reach this ruined set of Roman buildings on top of a hill, which is overlooking the whole county. Now, if you look around carefully, you'll notice that this area is completely surrounded by golden yellow roof trees, which to me seems very intentional. Now, at the beginning of the God of War games, Faye, who's Kratos' wife, enchanted yellow golden trees that surrounded their home in the woods with the intention of hiding themselves from the wrath of the Vanir and Aesir gods, but specifically Odin. Now, Faye ended up marking a specific tree for Kratos to fell, which would then break the spell and subsequently send Kratos and his son Atreus on their journey to Jotunheim, and that's where the game kicks off. So that's a fantastically small detail. Things like this remind me that the developers in the game are genuinely awesome when it comes to Easter egg secrets, and I just wish the same detail and care would have been put into things like short swords. And there's my joke for the video, so there we go. In any case, jokes aside, big thanks to Jude for sharing this one. Really great stuff. Now in at number 8, and there's another 500 IQ detail here, which was spotted by Ryan in reference to Monty Python. For those of you who don't know, Monty Python were an incredibly famous comedy troupe who were responsible for arguably some of the best comedy sketches of all time. Even if you haven't actually watched any of their stuff, you'll recognize a few memes that still do the circuits online, and they've directly come from their sketches. Now, in reference to this Easter egg, Sigurd and Eivor are heading to the shores of England, and once they begin navigating their way through the rivers, Sigurd mentions that Mercia is a temperate zone, which is a nod to an iconic Monty Python line in the Holy Grail film. Now, in this particular part of the film, a guard asks King Arthur Pendragon, who's owner of Excalibur, where he got those coconuts, which he was actually banging together to replicate the sound of a horse. Now, taken aback, Arthur says that he found them, to which the guard responds,
"The coconut's tropical." "What do you mean?" "Well, this is a temperate zone."
Which is awesome. Another super small detail and a really great find, Ryan. Cheers, mate. There's obviously someone at Ubisoft who sees himself as a bit of a comedian, and the reason I know that is because of this Easter egg, and also because I can't get any big fat fish apparently after the fix. So there we go. Now in at number 7, and that's 2 for the price of 1 here in our settlement. So thanks to Brad for sharing this one. He said that if you actually head to your tattoo shop, you'll find a tattoo idea jotted down by Tove, highlighting a dragon breathing fire with the wings of a bat and arms of a very muscular man. This is reference to Trogdor, also known as Trogdor the Burninator, who is a character from the popular Web Flash cartoon Homestar Runner, which began online in the early 2000s. One of the cartoon's main antagonists is a dude called Strongbad, who features in a series of short cartoons where he would answer his fan mail sent in by real people. Now, Strongbad in this particular sketch was asked in an email to draw a dragon and demonstrate his skills of an artist. Now, after a few initial failed attempts, Strongbad managed to create a dragon that he was particularly pleased with, which then became Trogdor the Burninator, which is a great spot, and cheers Brad for sharing that. Now, another cool Easter egg here at your settlement, and that's thanks to Mooka for this one. So if you head across the waterfall, run through it, you'll find a note on the box which clearly says Snitch, which is a nice reference to Harry Potter and the Snitch in Quidditch, because if you then exit the waterfall and look at the fireflies, which I'm sure you've released in game, well, it looks very similar to the Snitch which is used in the game Quidditch in Harry Potter, and this is another great find on top of the half a dozen Harry Potter Easter eggs we've already got in game. But cheers for sharing, guys. Now at number 6, and it's Welcome to the Romance games, as this is another very subtle spot by Donald, who made the connection in some of the romance romance options Eivor is faced with in-game and how they actually connect to the famous books and films The Hunger Games. So in-game, as you probably know, you can actually do the tango with quite a few people at your settlement, but two in particular stand out, and that's Tarbin, the settlement's baker, and Petra, the settlement's resident hunter. These two love options is a direct reference to Katniss being stuck in a love triangle between Peter Malark, who is the baker in their district in Hunger Games, and Gale Hawthorne, who actually hunts with Katniss out of bounds for extra food for their families and settlement. Now, I don't want to ruin the story if you ever plan on giving the Hunger Games series a go, but there's a lot of subtle similarities here with our love options and choosing which one you want to go with in Valhalla. Now, I don't know about your Eivor or who you chose, but my Eivor was on the hunt, and the odds were definitely in his favour. I do apologise. Now, a quick one before we hit up the top 5, guys. If you found this video interesting or valuable so far, a quick like on the video helps me out as a YouTuber, so big thank you. Now, moving into number 5, quite a few of you pointed this one out in our previous Easter egg video, and I actually can't believe I didn't clock this one when I did the quest. So big thanks to Marcus, Miko, and Durr, who took the time to let me know about this one, and it's absolutely fantastic. So in Grantebridgeshire, south of the Sink Point Black Peak, you'll come across a mystery called the Walloper. This dude claims he can defeat anyone with one punch, and has also done so in all the fights that he's ever had, and this is in reference to the Japanese superhero franchise called, you guessed it, One Punch Man. It tells the story of Saitama, a superhero who can defeat any opponent with a single punch, but seeks to find a worthy opponent after growing bored by the lack of challenges due to his incredible strength. This is essentially the quest, and he even looks like him, to be honest with you. But did any of you actually get hit by him, by the way? Because if you actually did, he will one-shot you, which is a nice little detail. And all in all, this is a good mystery and a good Easter egg. So cheers again for sharing, my dudes. Now, at number 4, and this is a superb Skyrim Easter egg, and it's another top effort from you, gang, so cheers to Pele, Gabby, and Heartcross for this one. And it's another subtle dialogue mention, which is easy to miss, but awesome to know. In Winchester, while progressing through the main story, you'll have to assist some local kids by helping them escape the sewers, and after doing so, you'll end up chatting to one of them who says,
"My dad were a warrior. All he did was complain about how he once took an arrow to the knee."
Which some of you may know is the famous line used by the town guard NPCs in the game Skyrim, and is frequently said by those NPCs whenever you kind of get close to them. So lots of memes came out of this, and they still do, but I'm not sure if you guys noticed this, and I don't know if this is a continuation on from that same Easter egg, but a lot of the enemies that you do fight, their weak points seem to be in their knees, and if you actually do hit it with an arrow, it does insane damage. So is this a coincidence, or is this just kind of trying to make the game more difficult for us? I have no idea, but it fits in quite nicely, I think. Coming in at number 3, and there's quite a few things here, so this is quickly going from a top 10 to a top 20, which is classic for these kind of videos. But first up, August made a really great shout about a note inside the shed, outside the Animus. So if you actually head across the wall behind the Animus itself and interact with the note, you'll notice that Sean Hastings has actually written about Edward and Hytham, adding a bit of extra context regarding their connection. The note says that Edward must have known about Hytham being one of the first assassins in England, and subsequently naming his son accordingly, which I think is a very, very interesting, and I'm sure we'll find out more about it in the coming months. But also, if you actually head just past those benches, you'll be able to see a lovely view of North America. But if you look down below, you can see those cairn stones which have been dismantled. Now these are the same cairn stones and location which can actually be found in Vinland if you do travel to the same spot. It is slightly different, as you'd expect from a thousand years, but you can see the similarities. Now, sticking with Vinland for one more decent secret, so a big thanks to Sam, Samuel, Stealth, and Stephen on our Discord for this one, who noted that after you complete the storyline in Vinland, you'll be able to actually visit the Isu temple entrance, which is the same temple door that Desmond visits in AC3. So this has kind of all come full circle, as Eivor leaves the apple with the locals in Vinland, who end up being Connor's ancestors in North America. Now, this is just awesome, and you can say what you will about Valhalla. I know it's got a lot of teething problems, which, to say it mildly, but there are a lot of satisfying link-ups with previous installments and games, and I can really appreciate that. Now, coming in at number 2, and this one is a real corker. Some of you may have read the notes actually left in the assassin bureaus, which talk about various assassination contracts, the majority of them actually being successful, as well as the order of evacuation given by Magister Vitus, who was the actual master assassin in Britain during the Roman occupation. Well, Vitus didn't actually manage to leave Britain and is actually buried in a secret tomb here in game, which is very cool. Huge shout out to Access the Animus, because they did another banger of a video on this and how they actually ended up finding Vitus's tomb. So the link to that video is of course in the description if you want a full detailed explanation. Definitely worth your time. But to paraphrase, there's 2 points on a map, one at Dover Pharos, where you'll find a triangle and the Roman numeral 1, which is located at the top of the tower, as well as Dover Fortress, which isn't too far away, just down the road, where you'll also find another triangle and the number 2. Now, if you intersect those 2 lines on the map, you'll actually come across a well, which is very well hidden. No pun intended. No pun intended. But if you drop down, you'll find Magister Vitus, who is lying on the assassin emblem, and you'll also come across a note, which is very cryptic. cryptic. But Access the Animus also did more outstanding code breaking and found that it actually said, "We gladly bite those who were dominators, but I fail." Now, this is in reference to too many successful assassinations in Britain, which led to the instability of the Roman occupation in Britain and subsequently impacting the Hidden Ones themselves, so much so that they had to retreat with the Romans to Cologne, which is just awesome. So many awesomes, and let's hope we actually get more things like this going into future expansions, because it really is a joy to find and play and know about. And once again, big thanks to Access the Animus for discovering this and explaining it to the community. Now, speaking of in-game secrets, and if that was a corker, this one's an absolute banger, because some of you may have heard these Odin runes popping up all over the shop the last couple of months, but for those of you who haven't, there's these 6 runes that have been discovered by players across the country, and it's been confirmed that they do indeed actually have a purpose. Big shout out to JV on his awesome work regarding these Odin runes. Link, of course, is in the description for that specific video on each rune location, but at present, we currently have 6 runes in these locations on the map. Nobody has triggered any sort of meaningful interaction with these runes as of yet, but Darby McDevitt, who was the former narrative director for Valhalla, did say to JV in a tweet that the community was definitely onto something. In fact, Darby also replied to the Ones Who Came Before Twitter account saying that the runes do indeed do something, but we just need to be patient. Does he know what the AC community is like? In any case, this rune itself is actually called Odin's Illusion rune, so it's an actual legit thing, which means camouflage and deception, which just adds to that extra saucy secrecy. But what do you think about all these, and what do you think they actually mean? You reckon we'll get some sort of hidden weapon like we did with Odin's Ark, or perhaps it's another Isu temple associated with the Celtic Isu, and we'll find more of them in Ireland? In any case, keep your eyes peeled for these runes in Ireland and Paris itself, because this is going to be the next big uncovered secret inbound for us in 2021. By the way, if you're interested in joining an awesome community of people who love Assassin's Creed and other games, then check out our Discord. We'd love to see you in the lobby and have a good chat. Also, big congrats to History Code, who won our community photo competition last week. Great photo, dude, and big thanks to all of you who helped contribute to this video. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit a like down below, and as usual, coffee's on me.